Hi, welcome. It's Teresa here from Warragul in Victoria, Australia. And today I'm going to continue sharing the Botanical print Melody kit. There's so many cards you can make out of this kit, and I want you to get the best if you buy it. I've kept the videos a little bit shorter and individual so that you can just go on and watch the one you want. Sometimes if I make 2 or 3 cards, it makes the video very, very long, and then, yeah, people get tired of that. So without further ado, let's bring the camera down and have a look what we're doing down here today. So with the laser cut, what I've actually done this time is I've trimmed off this little edge here on this one here, and then I've also trimmed out the middle here. So I've very carefully snipped the pieces off, and then on this piece I cut out the V's to do it. Now I'm going to use these 2 pieces for 2 cards, just so you get a little bit more from your laser cut because it's so pretty. Okay, so let's start with this one here. So I'm going to give you the measurements of the card that I've used. So the card is 14.5 by 10.5. It's actually half of a or nearly half of a A4 piece of paper. So that's our card base. Then I've actually used the Pretty Peacock green paper to match the laser cut, and this one is 13.5 by 10, and we're going to put this one down. So once again, I'm just using my Tombow glue, and I'm going to stick this down. And yes, I'm using my little ribbon holder. It makes it flow a little bit easier. Now I want a little bit higher, wider edge at the bottom and the top of the white, so I'm going with that this time, which is nice. The one thing about the glue is that you can move it around a little bit. So we're going to go with the frame, but I'm going to stick the white on first. Yep, I'm going to stick the frame on the white. So this time we're going to use the silicone mat, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to show you using the snail. So with the silicone mat, the good thing about it is when you use snail, you can actually turn your laser cut over and just rub gently. It will push the glue back into behind the laser cut. It won't stick to the silicone mat, which is great. And this is another way that if you've only got snail in your home and not any other glue, you can just use it. So you just rub it backwards and forwards, and it just removes that glue around the edge that you don't want, and it's only going to stick to the piece underneath that we do want, which is really, really a great idea. Okay, so nearly finished. Okay, so then we're going to lift that up, and as you can see, it's quite sticky, and it's given it a sticky underneath. Okay, just use my silicone mat out of the way, and we're going to place that over our white piece of cardstock. It just wants to move where I don't want it to move to, so we'll just do it this way. Okay, so we're going to then place this onto our card. So I'm going to use my Tombow glue again. And I put the white piece underneath it because I want it to pop a little bit, pop out a little bit, which is nice. So we'll just pop that there. So we're having a small edge on each side, but a little bit bigger edge on the top and the bottom. Then I'm actually going to, I've cut a piece of the Pretty Peacock to go over the centre of that gap, just to neaten up the edge where I had to cut, which is quite pretty. Okay, so we're going to pop this one over the top of this. So you can sort of see it makes it nice on the centre of the card now. Always make sure you've got your card up the right way. There's nothing worse than if you have it upside down. I've done that before. I'm sure we all have. Then I'm going to use a piece of Whisper White. Oh, sorry, I didn't measure that, did I, for you? So this one is 7 by 6. So this one would be 6.5 by 8. Okay, 6.5 by 8 for the centre bit. And pop this on here. This is just a little small edge to give that little frame around it. Then I'm going to come in with some designer series paper out of this beautiful pack too, and I'm going to bring that into the centre, and the designer series piece is 7 by 5.5 centimetres, that is, not inches. Okay, and we're just going to pop that. Not quite sure which way I want that. I might pop it that way, I think. Have the flowers coming downwards. Okay, so that goes really nice in there. Now, in this pack also, we got some beautiful little, I'm not quite sure where they are now, but I will find them. Some little honeybees. They're in gold. They're absolutely gorgeous. Now, you can stamp out if you wanted to on one of the little things that the little labels that come in the kit. You could actually stamp out on that. But I've actually stamped out a little thick green friend on here, which I'm going to just pop up there somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. I'll put some dimensions on the back of it and we'll work that out. Okay. So I've just put some dimensions on the back, and I think I'd like it to just sort of go up here. I don't want to cover all the designer series paper, and I think we'll just add this gorgeous little bumblebee down here. Not quite sure where I want him yet, maybe just in the middle there. So I'm just going to use, you can use the silicone glue dot, but if you don't have a silicone glue dot, you can just use one of our tiny mini dimensions and just cut it in half. And you can place that on the back of it. Just got to get it on there. So you can sort of see it just sits on the back of it, and you won't see it from the front. And we're just going to pop him in there on the flower. And it's a quick little card, but it's quite cute. It's got a little bit of touch of gold there for that special friend. And you've used the laser card. Now let's go with another one with the laser card as well for the other piece that we cut out, this piece that we cut out. So this time we're going to go with our card base, which is the same size. It's 14.5 by 10.5, and it's a half A4 folded in half. I use my scorer on my cutter because I love that nice crisp score, and then I like to use my bone folder on it as well. So I've also cut a mat. So our mat is 14 by 10, and this is in the Pretty Peacock cardstock. It's just so we can keep the theme going. And I've just given it just a small border around the edge on this one. Then I've actually cut out some designer series paper, which is out of the kit as well. So this one's 13.5 by 9.5. You can use either side, like I said, black and white, or you can use the coloured side because there's lots of different colours throughout. I always find with flowers and that it's hard to sometimes know which is right and wrong way up, but I don't think it really matters because stems are going always on this, so that's good. Then I've cut out a piece of the pretty peacock as well again, and that is 11 by 8 centimetres. And we're just going to add some glue on this, and we're just going to pop this in the centre. Now, if you've got framelits and you're a framelit person, like your ovals or your squares, your stitch framelits, you can use them, but I'm just going for people that maybe doesn't have a die cutting machine and buys the kit that they can actually make up stuff, cut their cards stock up to the sizes and still get a beautiful card. Okay, now we're going to place our laser in the centre of that. Okay, which way? Yep, probably that way. Okay, so once again we're going to use the silicone mat for this and a little bit of snail. And I'm just going to come across on some of these little squares. So it doesn't matter if you run it right around or just part. Turn it over and then just rub with your finger. It's a gentle rub because you don't want to break your laser, you don't want to rip it, so it's more of a gentle little rub. And just get that excess glue off. Okay, and then just lift up, and that can go into the centre of our card here, which is nice. Now to make that come up a little bit more, we could use one of their die cuts like in here with a word on it. You could use a long one on it like that. You could use one of our pop outs. I'm just giving you some ideas here. So you could use one of our pop outs with the orange, or maybe even the grapes would look nice with the peacock. So you could use one of them. You could use one of the bigger dies. So that could come down over it. That would look nice as well. You could bring in some pearls, which I'm going to do today. I'm going to put the pearls in the centre of the flowers. So you can colour the pearls if you want to, and I'll just show you how to do that. You can use your Stampin' Blend, and you can actually just come over and colour and give them a very light tinge of blue as well, so it just fits in with your card. You do need to let them dry just for a few minutes. So while that's drying, we will stamp out some words. How many do I need? 3, 6, 9, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, well, I think we've got 12 there. Okay, so we'll just let that dry. So you can sort of see you get that nice soft one. And I think I used a Barima Bay. Yeah, just because I wanted it a touch lighter than the turquoise one, the peacock. Okay, so we're going to stamp out a word. I've got to work out where I want my word. I might pop it in the centre there, or I could just stamp words there and there. But just going to make sure I've got the card open up the right way, because we know we don't like it going the wrong way. So what am I going to stamp on here? I need to do thank you, so I think I'll need to do a friend or a thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your kindness. will that fit on there? And I always try and make sure that they will fit on, which this one will fit on there. Because there's nothing worse than you pick a stamp and then it's not going to fit. So I think I'll do this in just the black ink on this one. And just, sorry if my head gets in the way, I'm not sure if it is or it isn't, but just come down and stamp in the centre. Thank you for your kindness. Going to use a couple of dimensions on this. I like to use the big ones. Now another little tip that's really good is the bottom of your dimensions. When you finish with them, you can actually save them. If you're doing, for a demonstrator, if you're doing a class, you can hand them out if you want people to use your ink refills, and it becomes a little palette. The ink won't go through it, and you've got these little pellets. So if you save the back of your dimension papers, you can use them as ink pellets in the class, or even at home if you're just a crafter. You can just keep them at home, and then when you're using your ink refills, you can actually, I've just got to work out where I want this. And I think I might pop it down the bottom here because I've got the pearls to add on. And I should have my beautiful little pick tool, but I haven't got it over this side. I've got a really bad habit of having two workbenches. We could have probably gone one size smaller with the pearls, but this looks okay. Whoop, the pick tool's a lot easier. I hope you're enjoying my classes online. These are free classes just so that people can get the most out of their stamp sets. I love to share, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I love people to see. I love to see that people are getting the most out of what they've bought. It's really good buying products, but you need to know how sometimes to use them and get the most out of a stamp set or get the most out of a kit. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment. This month over on my blog, which I've got the link below as well, I am doing samples. So join in, it's a little bit of fun. Go in and add comments on each of my posts. Started on the 6th of March and I think it finishes on about the 18th or the 20th of March. And then on the 31st I'll do a video and say what samples I'm giving away, and some lucky person, it could be you, is going to win a lovely pack of samples to have. And I love samples because when we go to Stampin' Up things, we get lots of samples and you come home and you can get to make lots of things with them. And it's just nice, it's all free, and yeah, I like to spoil someone. Okay, so you can see this is quite a nifty little card, and I'm just going to show you the cards that we've made over the last few days. Oh, well, this one was the one we made just before, and sorry, excuse me, reaching. And this is the one we made the other day. So if you want to know how to make this one, jump on and see the video for this one. That was the first one I did, and these are the second ones I did. And I think there was another one, but I'm not quite sure where that is at the moment. Okay. Thank you for joining me today, and I really hope that you enjoyed seeing how to use your laser cuts, because they're really important to be able to use and see what you can get from them. And where was that other card I made? I really don't know where I put it. That's all right. They all disappear on my table. This side's clean, that side's not quite so clean. I bet that happens to you too. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye for now.